My name's Irene Buteman. I lead the Planning for Place programme at the Improvement Service, and I also work on planning for place with Public Health Scotland as well. Today I'm going to give us a little bit of a context for where 20-minute neighbourhoods sit within Scotland and what is happening around place, what is place, and what are place-based approaches across Scotland at the moment. Then we'll spend a little bit of time on what a 20-minute neighbourhood is, and then I'll focus in a little bit more specifically around that planning ask of 20-minute neighbourhoods through the work that we have done with Edinburgh on their local development plan. So to begin with, I am frequently asked what is place and what is place-based working, and this is what I frequently go back to. It just explains the concept of why we need to do place-based working. And it's really about the fact that we know every place is different, no matter what scale, be it a street, a town or a country. Every street is different, every country is different. But there are three key characteristics that exist in every one. One is that physical planet, the urban, the rural, the streets, the fields that in planning we predominantly deal with and have our interventions around. The other is people, the social side of a place and how they interact, the communities within that place, and what that culture in that place will differ wherever you go. And then there's the economic aspect and characteristic of a place. So that can be employment, but that can also be investment, our own investment in that place, whether we're renting or we're buying, the investment that's gone into the farmer's field or the pavement that we walk along. There is always investment in every place as well. So those three areas of place interact with each other, and the interventions that any of us have working in each of these characteristics can have either meaningful or at times unintended consequences. When we have an intervention, we can have an impact on the other characteristics in a place. What I mean by that, and a good way of putting that across, is this quote, which I love to use. It just captures it. Obesity, inactivity, and loss of community hasn't happened to us. Rather, we legislated, subsidised and planned it. And what is meant there is not that we intended for these things to happen. It's that we were busy having an intervention in another area, be that the economy, be that to help people, or be that in the physical aspect of a place. And the unintended consequence ended up being an increase in obesity, inactivity, depression, and a loss of community. It was not thinking about those unintended consequences that can lead to the fact that we sit in a Scotland that has the worst health inequalities in the whole of Western Europe. So place-based working is about making sure that we think across all of the areas of a place to make sure that we've put a bit more thought really into what are those unintended consequences, what can we do differently to make sure that those impacts that go across to other areas are positive rather than negative, and negative impacts on the outcomes that we were seeking to achieve. So that means really us all not sitting in our silos thinking about our own interventions into a place, but thinking also about the bigger picture and what everybody else is seeking to do in a place, and getting to grips and understanding who is in a place, what are the community organisations, the anchor organisations that are already there, and what is the impact going to be of one intervention on other areas. This all is nothing new for us in Scotland. It stemmed back from the Christie Commission, coming up now 10 years ago, where we were finding we were spending too much money on going in and dealing with issues that at times we could have prevented happening in the first place with a little bit of forethought on the action and the policy that we were coming forward with. And at that time, the Christie Commission came out with its recommendations on we need to work with people, we need to work collaboratively in partnership, we need to think more about prevention rather than spending a lot of our time and resource on dealing with the issue and the aftermath of it. and we need to look and review at what we're doing and is it working. And it was all within a context of looking at different places and an understanding that that happened in different places. So that sets the context for why we have the place principle. We hear a lot about it. It's mentioned a lot now in the National Planning Framework position statement. And the reason is that a few years ago, the place principle came along because really what we were saying is, we know what we should be doing. Christie Commission report told us we got the Community Empowerment Act, but we're still not working together enough to think about those unintended consequences. So it really was Scottish Government and COSLA saying, we need to refresh and do a bit more on this, a good bit more of place-based working, and realising that that is what it's about, is that collaborative working together to really think through the impacts of all the individual siloed interventions that we could be having and making sure that we're stepping out of those silos. So doing that and talking to others and thinking about a place is a messy thing to do. And I like to think of one of the nodes in the middle there as being, you know, you're sitting there, you're working away, but there's a whole system of things going on in a place. And that isn't easy. And I think that's accepted straight up, that it is far easier to sit in our silos and to work away on our own interventions rather than look up. But that is what place-based working is asking us to do. So we find ourselves now at a position where, when it comes to looking at place-based working, what is it we're trying to achieve? Well, we're trying to achieve the national outcomes for Scotland. We're also looking to achieve net zero emissions, to work together on how we do that and the changes that that has to every aspect of our everyday life. And then more recently, we've had COVID and we've had the need to recover from COVID. So the rise in the importance given to place, certainly as a result of COVID, with us all realising what's on our own doorsteps and us all beginning to be a little bit more active in using our own places, has really brought it to the fore. And certainly the programme for government for Scotland for this coming year is very clear that there's a desire to build on that, and there's a desire to build on it through place, and very much a desire to build on it using 20-minute neighbourhoods as well.